Dans all the time. This is the Dan Time Podcast with your host, Dan McArthur.
Well, it's the end of August, and I thought, why not? Let's try to crank out a surprise episode here. Too much going on lately, too much to think about, too much information coming at you constantly. You can't relax. You can't take your mind off the absolute madness going on every day. What's it like when you wake up and you check the alerts or you go to your favorite news, if you can call it news, sources and platforms and apps, and you just catch up real quick before you jump out of bed and get in the shower and get your day started. Just all the horrific, demoralizing, ominous reports coming in from all over the country, all over the world. Don't you sometimes just want to tune out and halfway pretend that everything's going great, everything's going smoothly? It's fun when you see friends and people you know, maybe by chance. Like we were at the neighborhood pool. We were at the neighborhood pool today, and you know, we saw about 3 or 4 couples that we weren't planning to see or run into. It was really nice. It was really hot too, but it was really nice to see some people. And of course, you say, "Hey, how you doing? How you been?" And you don't even have to go very deep with anybody, and you just know. You just know, even if they're wearing it well, which a lot of us are pretty good at it. They're worried about all kinds of stuff. They're struggling with all kinds of stuff. They're concerned, deeply concerned about something, but they're not going to talk to you about it today. They're trying to have fun and watch their kids, and what a mess. What a mess. We got special elections coming up. We got the November midterms coming up. Some of you don't live in the United States, but you're probably aware of what's been happening around here. Not all just political stuff, but yeah, hopefully this lands in your rotation. You see it and you grab it. Oh, Dan Time. Dan Time's back. Good. I don't want to have to think about anything real heavy, real weighty. I don't know why I had to enunciate the T there, but so I wanted to lead off today. This is a ramble-sode. I've coined that phrase. I've coined that term. If somebody beat me to it, please let me know. I don't want to take credit for stuff I didn't come up with, but pretty sure I came up with Dan Time or this version of it. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you've had a good summer. I hope you don't live where it's a real feel heat index of 103, 4, 5, 6, 7 degrees every single day for what feels like weeks and maybe most of July and all of this month. So yeah, I'm done with August. Always been a summer guy, but this one's been brutal. And I wanted to do a quick shout out recognition because I don't feel like these guys and girls get a lot of praise or just attention thrown their way. But if you work outside and you work somewhere along the Sun Belt, anywhere that's challenging, to say the least, on a seasonal basis, whether it's extreme heat, extreme cold, I want to make sure that you feel appreciated. In my industry, because, you know, podcasting, for me at least, it doesn't pay the bills, doesn't keep the lights on, so I do work a regular job. And there's a lot of people who work for my company in our industry that make the world go round. And it's not easy. And I just want those people to know you're not forgotten. You're not marginalized, certainly not by me. And I hope that for those of you listening, when you're driving down the road and you see DOT workers or other construction workers, people up on scaffolding, people operating heavy equipment on various job sites in all kinds of weather. Just all I ask is that you recognize that that's an actual, and maybe you do, an actual living, breathing, relevant, equal human being. Want to share an experience here. I don't do a lot of this, but my wife and I get out to a few concerts together, not very often. A lot of times it's me going down to the local music hall for some of my favorite acts. But I guess it's been about 6 or 7 years. Remember that episode? 6 or 7 years ago, 2019. So I do the math. That's 7 years ago. We saw Bryan Adams at the amphitheater nearby. And this past weekend, went to see the Goo Goo Dolls with the Neon Trees opening up. This was a band, Goo Goo Dolls was a band that my wife has seen maybe 30 years ago or 25 plus. Really wanted to go check them out, so I got us tickets. And you do this once every few years. My mindset is spend a little extra. Get some good seats secured. If they got a VIP experience and you can afford it, go for it, splurge on it, have some fun. So that's what we did. But I gotta, all right, first of all, both bands, Neon Trees, Goo Goo Dolls, just well-oiled machines. They had their chops down, loved it from start to finish. Neither one of them is right squarely in my wheelhouse. I don't listen to their catalogs, but, went back afterwards and added a few songs and LPs there. But, all right, so I like what I like. I like primarily going to small venues where you stand up, you get as close to the stage as you want to, and there's some good energy in the room. So, that being said, an amphitheater show, which I haven't been to an arena show in a long time, or a stadium, but it's a little bit different. And the VIP experience, I mean, we came away with a couple Yeti tumblers and some lanyards and not a lot else. I mean, it wasn't like we got backstage or anything like that. We're just, got a little gift bag. But we get seated, we get down there, and you think that you might, I literally thought going into this that, hey, I don't know a lot of these songs. I'm probably going to be around a bunch of people that are mouthing every word and singing their little hearts out. And I was quickly able to put those concerns to rest. I don't know what it's like where you live or your experience at some of these shows and some of these sections. But nothing against the bands. A lot of people in the crowd in our little radius there, man, I couldn't tell if they were at a concert or waiting on their table at Cracker Barrel, waiting for the buzzer to go off. There was a little spotty. So there are some people that are standing up and they're jamming to this particular song, and other people. Now, it's perfectly fine to sit in some of these moments because it's not the real hard rock metal shows where you're just your pants are on fire all night. You're just jumping around, whatever. But I just cannot. I cannot connect with people seated with their hands on their knees and their heads absolutely still and motionless, expressionless during pretty high energy songs and just giving nothing back, like absolutely nothing back. So, yeah, I see that stuff. I can't help but see it. Maybe some of you listening are like me, where you just, whether you want to or not, you hear things, you see things, you're taking in everything around you. It's hard for you to listen to someone talking to you when there's a conversation going on right next to you, that kind of thing. So that's what I deal with. But I was a little disappointed in my concert goer brethren. I shared this with Natalie after the show. Now she's up and she's dancing and she's really expressive when songs are playing that she's into. And yeah, people right next to us. I mean, right next to us. I saw things, not just that, where you're just kind of like sitting and there's no emotion. It just, I don't know if not everybody has a little bit of rhythm, the natural rhythm where you're just, the beat's going, you're going to start tapping the foot. But I get that. But I saw couples that, to the best of my knowledge, they're sitting like a row up from you or 2 rows up and a few seats over. I'm not eyeballing these people all night exclusively, but I just see this stuff. Couples that barely acknowledged each other's presence, like they were. And I've actually been to these concerts. I've been to one before where I've actually been to 2, where it was a recent ex-girlfriend, but the ticket purchase predated the demise of the relationship. So it was like you got 2 tickets to a show that you were both planning on before you broke up, and you both liked the band, and you're just going to go do it, and you're going to be civil, but you're not in love, and you're maybe not even happy. But hey, I mean, everybody can get through one night in a glass of wine or a cold beer, a $14, $15 beer, which I didn't buy one of those either. But not a lot of lovey-dovey, couples just having a great, great time. And it disappointed me. I got to say that I'm bringing it up on this episode. It's almost like with Goo Goo Dolls, people were waiting the entire night for Iris. It was one of those crowds. But they did all right. If you turn behind you, it's always the folks, and I've sat and years past, and like I said before, kind of had this policy of, I don't do this all the time anymore, so when I do, I'm not going to, I'll double up on what I would normally spend. It's not, I rationalize it, but I've sat in those, not the nosebleeds, but general admission or on the lawn when they used to have lawn seating. But you look behind you, and those are the people really getting into the concert. But I saw, it was like a group of people specifically, at least 8 of them, just center cut, front row, right before the barricades, sitting motionless in unison, like not just one person. Okay, I got to get past that because it was a fun night. It was a hot night. It was steamy. The beers, I'm not drinking much anyway, so we didn't spend a dime on beverages. They'll let you get in there with an empty plastic bottle. So if you read up on the regulations before you go in, take an empty bottle. Some places, that part I didn't get because it was just in Chicago recently, and you can bring in a whole snack pack. I mean, sort of a cooler in there to Wrigley Field. But we just brought that in, refilled it a couple times. Now listen, this scene that I'm painting, I know there's a lot of community festivals and other smaller events where they're outdoors and it's at a park or something like that. People are in those camping chairs and they're just kind of hanging out. And that's one thing. Okay, that's everyone. They're primarily enjoying the day. Maybe some portion of the audience is familiar with the catalog of the artist playing, but it's kind of a local thing. That's different. This is a national touring act, and Neon Trees with 3 or 4 pretty big hits. I don't know, just phone scrolling, and I took a few video clips. I did, but I didn't stand there all night with the phone in the air. But just saw a lot of that, and I'm ready to get back to Vinyl Music Hall. That's where I really have the most fun. Enough of that. I didn't come here to talk about just that. One other thing on my list here, and this is not super deep in the episode, but it's deep enough to where if you like this show and you connect with some of the things I talk about, you're still here. Anxiety. Okay, I put this as a a bullet point on my notes. This is a ramble-sode, so this is all completely random topics. And anybody out there, if it's you, and you struggle and have struggled for a long time with depression or anxiety, I want to also let you know that I recognize what you're going through. Some people might think you have it all together, or you're doing a pretty good job, or maybe you're not in a good place right now, and every day is pretty hard for you. And hopefully some combination of therapy or medication is helping a little bit. But I want to let you know that that's near and dear to me. I have family members that struggle on one or both ends. And I myself, I've never disclosed this before, but since at least 13 or 14 years old, and honestly going way back to second, third grade time period, I've struggled with anxiety. Have not had full-blown panic attacks in a long time because I've learned how to manage it. But I want to let you know this is a day-to-day thing for me. And like I said, I feel like the worst of it is behind me, but it'll never leave me. I do not take medication. I have rooted out a lot of things in my life, whether that's people or just stuff, stuff that you do, things that you eat, drinking, that don't feel like good decisions, to better my well-being. And doing this show, this is fun, but I'm not naturally comfortable talking at length. I'll get up in front of an audience. I'm not dying to go do it, but I'll do it. And there's a lot of situations where I will put myself in position to be uncomfortable and just kind of walk through it. And it's my way of trying to beat back what maybe I'm predisposed to, or something triggered this 40 years ago. I often talk about my second grade teacher at a small Catholic school in Florence, Alabama, who was a real chore to deal with, to put it mildly, and a real shock to my system. Not a very caring, not a very nurturing person, but if I had to trace it all the way back, that's the first time I ever remember having an introduction to anxiety. I had no idea what those feelings were about back then, but it just kind of hung in there, and it lay dormant for a number of years after that, and then resurfaced and never really went away after teenage years. But that being said, in our culture, what people want to put out there, they want to put forward the best version of themselves, the best picture of themselves, kind of doctor the image a little bit or a lot. There's all kinds of ways to just basically put this hologram of, I don't know if that's the right word, of what you would love for yourself to look like and seem like and appear to everybody. But behind that, it ain't that pretty. It's not that nice, or it's not that perfect. Well, I mean, none of us are perfect, but I just think right now it's not natural for people to post something about themselves. And maybe more people than I'm aware of do this, but I haven't. And it's not me trying to project an image that's without flaws. But I'm trying to be a little more forthcoming here. I basically go through the days and the weeks and the years with purpose, confidently, and I don't give in. That's the thing. I don't give in. I don't succumb to any of those feelings. Now, do they sidetrack some of my objectives some of the time? Yes, they do. If you're listening, I hope that helps to just realize that you're not alone. You're not unique in what you're going through. whatever you're fearful about today, right this moment, somebody else in the car next to you on the highway is probably going through something similar, or somebody at work, in the workplace that you barely talk to, and you think they got it all going right for them, could be similar to you. So I hope that helps. Other than that, just a couple miscellaneous things, and trust me, I don't know where these come from. This is garbage time topics. These are. The old parking lot experience, when you pull into mostly a national chain, big box store, a Home Depot, Walmart. And if this hasn't happened to you, I would love to know where you live exactly. But you park, you open the door, and whoop, look at that. Look at that. There's a dumped out ashtray. Becoming a little less common, but maybe if not a bunch of cigarettes right there, maybe there's a 6, 7, 8 or more discarded chicken wings. Just laying direct, not in a box, not in a tray, laying chicken wings on pavement. How, why are they disposed of right there in that fashion? I see that a lot. Flossers, the single-use flossers all over parking lots. And good thing we don't wear the surgical masks anymore post-pandemic. Remember all the mask trash, the mask litter? I see this stuff going back to things that, I see it. I can't help but not see it. And trashy behavior it doesn't upset me. It mostly just piques my curiosity of why people do this, and they don't think there's anything disgusting about it, or they probably do and just don't care. But do you ever park and you think, oh man, now I got to get out, I got to go do some shopping, and someone's going to think that I just dumped that there. Or it could be anything that you see and it's trash and you really don't want to touch it, you don't want to pick it up, but there it is. Okay, movies. I got a comment on the Moana remake. Now, I got nothing against remakes of children's movies or really any movies if they're done right, they're done well, and there's a reason for it. I don't know what this one accomplished. I really don't know what happened here other than to make a few people a hell of a lot of money. Because I felt like Moana 2, I think there is, the animated versions were just fine. Completely fine. The cast, the co-stars here, Dwayne Johnson and Catherine Lagaya, do a great job, but I didn't see the necessity of it. And beyond that, the smacking. If you go to the movie theater before the feature film starts, and you got to watch the previews, and you got to be there for the gap, the 2-second or 3-second gap, where the theater falls silent, and now you've got to hear the whispering, the smacking, the slurping, the popcorn shuffling. I don't like it. I've never liked it, and I actively try to avoid it. Try to get there a little bit late. That's all I got for you, folks. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're looking forward to fall as much as I am. And take care of yourself. Do what you got to do to take some steps in the right direction, just to feel as good as you can, because life, it's worth living. It can be fun. And if you're not having fun overall, what's the point in the job that you're working, or the employer that you're working for? What's the point in working for them? If you're not having fun with that friend of yours, what's the point of that friendship? Always keep that in mind. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening to the Dan Time Podcast.